What's up, guys? Justin Morgan here, Carved Up Vegan Muscle, and in this video you are watching the beginning of my taper week, not taper week, but taper going into my next strongman competition. Now, normally what you would kind of want to do going into a taper would be that you would eliminate a lot of the unnecessary movements. And in strongman, there is no squatting, so you might say, well, why are you doing squats? Well, I don't have a lot of implements at my house, so unless I'm going to the strongman gym, then, I'm kind of limited on what I can do. So, kind of the features of this week that you will not see in this video is that I did a lot of Zercher squats. I did a lot of push presses and split jerks with the barbell, and that is something I've really been working on improving. I've never really done them before, so it kind of makes it a little bit difficult to jump in and try to do, but I'm kind of going back and forth on whether I'll be stronger with the push press or the split jerk. Obviously the split jerk would be normally the stronger, but since I don't have a lot of practice in it, that kind of makes it a little bit of a disadvantage for me to try to do that. So basically here I'm trying to work on speed and getting the bar moving as fast as possible. So I'm doing 5 sets of 5 for a 75%, and this is a beltless paused squat. I don't really know what my max on this was, so 75% is kind of a rough estimate. I took, my normal squat of 500 pounds and took off 10% since I wasn't wearing a belt, and then I took off another, 5 kilos or so because I wasn't, because I was paused as well. So, I'm not sure exactly what the number was, but this did get really intense by the end. Sitting in that hole, with the pause. It's not a very long pause, but it does become pretty fatiguing as you go through set after set after set with 5 reps each time. So it just kind of started to get a little bit fatiguing. I was pretty tired, but I tried to keep the speed moving really well. That's kind of been my focus here lately, is getting the bar moving pretty quickly. So I've kind of decreased some of the weights that I would normally do on all the movements, and mostly just worked on those aspects of speed. Not necessarily speed work like you would think of, like West Side Barbell type speed work, where it's like maybe 50% and you're 1 rep max and you're using bands or something like that, something kind of related to that concept, but just speed in the sense that I'm getting the barbell moving quicker than I normally do. So now this was kind of a really high volume week. The idea is that you get super compensation going into the competition as you actually, the week after that, the week that I'm in right now, this was 1 week ago today that I filmed most of this. You taper down and you do nothing but the competition movements. So now I'm doing nothing but Zercher squats and Zercher rack lifts for this week that I'm in currently. But this previous week, I wanted to get a lot of volume in, accumulate quite a bit of fatigue, and then this week that I'm in currently, I'm mostly going to work up to a max and do a few back off sets and be done. Now the week going into the lift, or the week going into the competition rather, I will actually hardly be doing any really intense weights. Maybe work up to 80% of what I'm capable of, and then do maybe 1 back off set of 3 at 65%, which is a normal thing that I have a lot of the lifters in the Carved Up Gladiators arena do. So now you can see I'm also not doing a competition lift for this day either. I'm doing the close grip bench press. Another one, really not sure on what my exact close grip bench press max is, but I guessed it was probably around 315 pounds. Going by speed, I can move 335 pounds pretty quickly on a regular bench press. So I just took 10% off of that, and well, actually, it wasn't quite 10%, but I took some off that and guessed like 315 was probably a rough estimate. So this isn't like super close grip, but it's to where my arms are almost completely parallel to each other when going up. They're slightly out a little bit, but I wanted to stay on the knurling just for grip purposes. So this should kind of help getting used to some of the heavier weights, moving, I mean heavier compared to split jerking and that kind of thing. So just something to kind of accumulate some volume. Same idea as I mentioned before, but that's it. So going into this competition, this will really be my very first competition, and I could have gone to the novice category. You can pick different categories going into strongman, and the weights are the same, but you're kind of judged differently. But since I've been training strongman for the last year and a half or so, off and on, usually only 1 day a week, maybe 2 to 3 weekends per month, um, I figured, I've got enough experience. I should probably go to just the regular open category. I want to actually be able to compete against really strong competitors. And so far, on the Facebook page, the Phil Brown Classic or Big Phil Brown Classic, the guys that they've added to it are really serious competitors. They have a lot more experience than I do, a lot more years of training under their belt than I do, and they just look pretty massive. I mean, not that I don't look in good shape, but I look like I weigh 231 pounds, 105 kilos. Some of these guys look like, they're just monsters. They look like, I would guess they would be 250, 260, maybe 270 pounds. But they must. I'm assuming that they're probably quite a bit shorter than I am, which gives them both advantages and disadvantages. They're shorter, closer to the ground, so like deadlifting events might be preferable for them, especially for reps. Whereas like loading stones over a bar might give me an advantage. So it kind of evens out, I guess. But ultimately, they just have a lot more experience than I do. So I'm going to do the competition, just do the best I can. So this is kind of the end of the accessory lifts, just a few things thrown in there. So that's it. You guys take it easy, and I'll talk to you next time.